All right, welcome to the October 3rd regular meeting for the town of Neepawa. I see that as October is upon us, we're starting to feel a bit more like fall. So we'll start off the meeting here with approval of the agenda. Be it resolved that the council of the town of Neepawa approve the regular meeting agenda for October 3rd, 2023. Moved by Deputy Mayor Parrott, seconded by Councillor Kostenchuk. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Next, we'll move to the approval of the minutes. Be it resolved that the council of the town of Neepawa approve the minutes of the regular meeting held September 19th and the special meeting of September 27th as circulated. Moved by Councillor Pottinger, seconded by Councillor Gerard. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Council reports. Who would like to go first? Deputy Mayor Parrott.
I had the privilege of greeting 10 newcomers to town on Friday the 23rd, and it was pretty awesome with the exchange there. So they've had a great welcome to Neepawa. I'd like to thank Vince Walker for his many years of service looking after the Beautiful Plains Community Medical Clinic. He's decided to retire from that at the end of October, so we'll be looking for somebody is just as fantastic as he was. And after touring the training center yesterday and today with the architect, it's well on schedule. It's a remarkable facelift and change to the building with the addition and all. So we're looking forward to its opening in about 6 weeks. And that's it.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Councillor Nadeau.
Yeah, I've got a couple. On September 18th, we had a Yellowhead board meeting, and we began doing more planning for the season with the Yellowhead reopening fully, with hockey season and figure skating season and all those seasons starting. And we're looking at seeing a new director start soon, hopefully. The hiring's going on hopefully this week, we're hoping. And lots going on at the Yellowhead. On September 20th, there was a Westlake Employment Skills and Services Center meeting that we had. And a couple things to highlight for council here is our LPN program is not full. The program's not full yet. So there's still some room if people are interested. That's what I'm hearing. And on October 11th, of course, there's an LPN community leader type meeting, I believe. It's at the library. There's going to be, it's a come and go. So between 6 and 8 p.m. you can come to the library and come and go to get more information about LPN courses and stuff. Also on September 20th, there was a WMRLA library board meeting. It was held in Carberry, and got to tour the Carberry facility at the same time, and it's a very beautiful library. And our ratepayers here have full access to all the libraries within the region, which is nice. So your library card could allow you to get a lot of good materials there also. And the last one I'd like to bring council up on is on September 21st, we had a Neepawa Library Advisory Committee. And a couple highlights to share with council is we purchased some new children's furniture. So we've got all new children's furniture in the children's area of the library. It's worth taking a look at. Really easier to maintain, and it looks beautiful. And it's going to be very purposeful for our patrons that come in to use it. We get a lot of children using the library. And we also finished revising and updating our meeting room policy. And it's available for anyone that would like to take a look at it. You just go to the library desk and you can have a copy of it if you're interested. So we've updated that so it's current now. And those are the items I wanted to share.
Okay, thank you, Councilor. Councilor Gerard.
Yes, September 26th, the Governance and Finance Committee had a meeting in the office, and we were discussing part of a larger program that is starting to roll out across Canada. Back in the 2022 budget, there was $84 billion committed to a national housing strategy across Canada. And part of that, there's a further $20 billion set aside for what was developed as a housing accelerator fund. Those are dollars that are going to be distributed to municipalities across Canada to increase the number of housing builds and facilitate municipalities developing communities and community growth within their community. And through that, they're looking at it through the specter of some single-family housing, affordable housing, multifamily housing, as well as apartment buildings, acknowledging that there is a shortage of housing, which is having a direct impact on the cost of housing for individuals. So Neepawa Council, actually about 6 months ago, became aware of this program, and we started the process to do a housing study, because actually applying for the Housing Accelerator Fund, you did have to have a housing study in place. Now there's a very tight window as this program gets rolled out. They're already actually starting to make announcements on funding, and they're looking to have all those funding dollars paid out somewhere by the end of 2025. So we're looking at about a 3-year window. So it's communities like Neepawa that have taken lead on this by doing the housing study to recognize where our shortcomings are, what we need to do to develop and facilitate growth within our community. That includes whether it be traditional single-family housing, which keeps Neepawa looking the way it is, but it's also getting us to sit down and look at how Neepawa evolves going forward in our neighborhoods. So we're starting to have some preliminary conversations. Now, how this fund will work is those dollars will go to facilitate infrastructure. And infrastructure has always been the major barrier to development, especially with private developers and even for communities like ourselves, because of the massive amounts of dollars that are required to put water, sewer, roads in place. When we start taking a look at single-family housing, when single-family housing is rolled out, often the payback, and when I say the payback, that is the cost recapture of rolling out infrastructure, we can be in excess of 25 years to recapture those tax dollars off of a house, just to recapture the infrastructure that gets rolled out. So when we see new tax dollars coming from a house, it does not necessarily mean it solves those infrastructure problems going forward. So the group is starting to have initial meetings, and where we could see a funding announcement anytime, October, November, to see if Neepawa qualifies. In an ideal world, with what we would like to see it on the upper end, we could see on the upper end of $4.9 million, but what the real challenges of that for us as a community is that that is paid for infrastructure, but is paid on building permits. So it's a very fast turnaround. So there's going to be a lot coming forward from the community in the short term when we start looking at how we're going to work towards this Housing Accelerator Fund. And I think we're well positioned with how Neepawa has been growing, and we can show that our growth as a community has been exponential to other communities like size. We've shown that we've planned in advance by developing these studies. Those studies have not only engaged the municipality, we have reached out and they have surveyed developers, they have surveyed other groups within the community as what we're needing. And I think it's going to be a real exciting time, but it's going to require the community to come together really fast as how we evolve new neighborhoods, how we see Neepawa change to meet this new challenge, whether it, like I said, the housing looks different, we see more multifamily housing. But I think, you know, even for those who might be interested in doing developments in the community, the window will be very short, but there's gonna be opportunities to have infrastructure, those infrastructure dollars matched to help get that growth going. So exciting time, but it's a lot to get our heads wrapped around in a very short term as well.
If we get approved.
If we get approved, which I'm confident in our administrative team, we're on our way.
Excellent. Okay, thank you, Councillor Gerard. That is very exciting. Let's keep our fingers crossed on that. Okay. Jim.
So, I should also like to thank all the work that Councillor Sisley started when she was at Arts Forward for the Indigenous celebration, the powwow that was held on Friday. It went over very smoothly. There were over 300 people there, or 1,300 people there, and even from as far away as Boulder, Manitoba. And Darren, the elder that was there, made reference, I think it was Darren Rousseau, made reference to the fact that we were the only rural community outside of Winnipeg celebrating. It was pretty cool. And of course, our local school kids were high in attendance there as well. It was very well run, and it was a great day.
Our guest.
Gave tobacco away twice.
Right, should mention our guest. Our quick guest for what, 20 minutes?
Oh, really? Yes, we had a guest. Superintendent Jason Young came down. Wrong guest. And Premier Heather Stephenson came down, and MLA candidate Jody Byram was there, as well as some RCMP. And out of that, I got myself a really cool medallion from that unit. It was a nice gesture. And Premier Stephenson was able to walk around the whole area during the activities part and speak with all the elders that were present there and all the presenters. And it was a very nice, pleasant surprise.
Okay, Councillor Costinger.
On September 26th, I met with the HAND committee, the board. They're doing quite well. The Legion Auxiliary, Legion Ladies Auxiliary, they put on a meal, and the HAND was given $1,943.72 in that fundraiser, so that was really good. They're having a fall tea on October the 5th coming up. We've discussed getting some new equipment for the kitchen over at the, just to sort of give a little bit more opportunity to do other things. They're looking at getting a deep fryer, so they're going to look into whether or not they can just purchase just on a counter one, or if we go through the fire, then there's a huge remodel to do. So they're going to look at which one that they can get, preferably a cheaper way. We have a meeting, our next meeting is on the 8th of December, and August was really good. There was 265 takeouts, 99 deliveries. They sold 365 tickets for the meal service, so they're doing really well. They did raise the price up to $11, and there's no backlash from that. They're doing it well, so. Yeah.
Yeah, still a fantastic meal for $11.
It really is. It's going to be a great meal.
Excellent. Okay, thank you. Anyone else? All right, let's move on to Manager of Operations. Denise.
Thank you, Mayor. So everything's kind of moving along still. Park Lake project's still underway. Residents may notice that there's more and more progress as everyone keeps looking at drive by. So work is still set to be completed this fall. with the embankment first and then the concrete works following that. Bypass pumping will start soon because the contractor is starting to fill the breach location and start construction of the dam in that location. So it'll be bypass pumping by about better part of a month. So they have to do some fish rescue and some fish relocation as part of the fisheries and oceans aspect of this project. So that'll be ongoing. The Lagoon project, they said, still kind of slowed down just due to waiting on some mechanical features for construction. As Councillor Perry mentioned, the training facility building is moving along nicely. Some of our other work around is still ongoing, so paving still ongoing. A few patches, we'll try to get them added in there. Residents are also still participating in the yard waste pickup program. We've initiated that. Everything else, yeah, kind of getting seasonal touches in all our infrastructure, so hydrants can be pumped out and treated for winter, and starting to look at decommissioning some of our facilities and putting them into seasonal storage now, so we'll see some of our water lines being blown out soon as well. We did manage to get the rural raw line, water plant staff had that line flushed out last weekend, so that was good to see. There's no issues there, so staff worked on Sunday to complete that. We participated under the rec side. We completed the first fall fever race at the Highlight Back 40. We had approximately 35 participants in that race. We kept it at U16 level, so no one above that age. And everything went off really well. Weather held off, we didn't get any rain, and so the participation level, the attendance record was right where we wanted to see it, so we're very pleased.
What
Pardon?
dirt bikes?
Yes, we still are having issues with off-road vehicles going in there. So we have quads and we have some dirt bikes still in that site. Again, this is a bicycle or walking or hiking, running facility only. There's be no motorized vehicles whatsoever in there. None of the features were designed, nor can they handle heavy machinery. You're just going to ruin the site. We can't handle the aggressive tread, also the motor spinning, the tires, so you're just going to ruin the site if you're in there. Anyone caught in there will be have a chat for our safety.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
Just, so you're saying for the month that we bypass the river at Park Lake, we have to rescue all the fish and just move them
They
over?
will, whatever's trapped in the portion, I think the downstream, they have to relocate those fish, so they'll catch them and move
Move them over.
them, they'll initiate bypass pumping.
Actually, believe it or not, Stony Creek and former councillor Stillwell, who's here, Stony Creek is one of the few fisheries in southwestern Manitoba that actually host brook trout. They're large, but they have been caught by the Burton residents this summer. Not large, but they exist, and that is part of a fishery. So it is not, as much as people want to roll their eyes to the idea, it isn't actually an active fishery. And yeah, that's why in the summer when it rolls back around, when we get a lake again, you see pelicans in that lake because those are there. So it seems like an expense and all that, but it is a necessary step.
No, it just seems so interesting how we do that to accommodate our wildlife, so that's great.
Okay. Moving on to finance. So you should have gone through your September accounts. So the motion is, be it resolved that we approve the accounts for September 2023 totaling, well, $1,993,215 and 54 cents. As reviewed and representing check 2023-01849 to 2023-02064, but excluding 2023-02047. Moved by Councillor Pottinger, seconded by Councillor Gerard. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
I'll move myself to this next item.
Okay. Okay, Councillor Gerard, moving himself to conflict. Next is, be it resolved that we approve check 2023-02047 for September 2023 to Home Hardware totaling $813.54. Moved by Councillor Costa, seconded by Councillor Nadeau. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. So then, Colleen, tax sale.
So we did our supplemental additions and deletions to the tax roll last meeting, around 145,000. There was one deletion that the assessment branch did not get through for that particular night. It's a deletion for roll number 154,500, and if you're agreeable to process that one tonight, it's just a correction to building characteristics. $2,269.36.
Okay, any questions? Okay, the motion reads, whereas pursuant to section 372 of the Municipal Act, a municipality may set any terms and conditions for the sale of property to be sold for taxes, and may be set a reserve bid in the amount of the tax arrears and the costs in respect of the property.
Sorry, I spoke to the wrong thing. You were addressing the other one. Very quickly, on the tax sale reserve bid, we have 3 properties still remaining in tax sale for this year, and the sale is on November 2nd, so council has to decide what they're going to sell those properties for, should they decide to still be on the list for November 2nd. So we're asking for all of the taxes outstanding, right up to date, and all of the costs of actually processing through a tax sale. Sorry, my bad.
Okay, I'll just want to read that again. Whereas pursuant to section 372 of the Municipal Act, a municipality may set any terms and conditions for the sale of property to be sold for taxes and may set a reserve bid in the amount of the tax arrears and costs in respect of the property. Therefore, be it resolved that the town of Neepawa place a reserve bid on all properties to be offered for sale on November 2nd, 2023 in the amount of all tax arrears and costs subject to the conditions outlined in the notice of public auction dated September 20th, 23. Moved by Deputy Mayor Parrott. Seconded by Councillor Nadeau. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. No, so understand there's just the one roll number, so be it resolved that in accordance with section 326 of the Municipal Act, the Council of Neepawa approve the following supplemental deletion of 2023 tax roll as per information received from Minnedosa Assessment Branch. So it's roll 15450, moved by Councilor Kostenchuk, seconded by Councilor Gerard. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Supplemental. New business calling.
So the Municipal Economic Development and Infrastructure Program is a program that has an application deadline of October 6th, and this is run through the Economic Development Office. So the idea is to target economic development in communities that would advance your community in areas that would be specific to you creating those development activities, whether it be commercial or otherwise, or housing. So we're asking, though, our application, which qualifies under the program, we're asking for funding and support to help build the road infrastructure in the north, or in the southwest 34, 14, 15. And more specifically, for the first development project, should there be any in the future out there, this one key to be to create a road that will run east-west through there, and of course the road that will provide access from PT 816 for the new hospital. So our application is going to be for the road infrastructure on the southwest at 34, specifically at this point in time for the hospital. And I need a resolution to send with our application.
Questions? Be it resolved that the council of the town of Neepawa support an application to the Manitoba Economic Development Infrastructure Program for the development and construction of those portions of the public road within Southwest 34, 14, 15 to provide access to the new regional hospital and future development projects. Moved by Councillor Kostenchuk, seconded by Deputy Mayor Parrott. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, I'm going to remove myself from conflict here.
Okay, so this is the approval of the development incentive application. Neepawa Gladstone Copper Limited being the applicant. Would you like to explain?
So development incentive bylaw 3176-17 provides economic incentives for the construction or expansion of a commercially zoned property that increases the assessment value of that property by a minimum of $1 million. Once added to the assessment roll, these properties beginning in the year following substantial completion are provided with a 4-year progressive municipal tax credit on the general municipal portion of taxes. So you would get, technically it's related to assessment, but we all know it equates to tax dollars. So in year 1 on the incremental, you would get 80% reduction. Year 2 is 60%, and then 40, and then 20. So in year 5, your assessment is fully assessable and taxed at that. So having met the criteria of this bylaw, Neepawa Gladstone filed an application to be considered for a development incentive based on the construction of the new 12,580 square foot retail sales floor addition and the renovation of the existing 11,640 square foot sales floor. With construction completed at the end of 2022, the incremental assessment related to the new construction increased the assessment for this property by $1,276,900. So it met the criteria for the incentive. Since this value was added to the 2023 assessment roll as part of the 2022 final roll, which meant it came on and was taxed for the full year, we actually took a look at this particular incentive, and the application would be starting in the year 2023 and running till 2026. So we're asking for your approval of this incentive.
Okay, so whereas the Neepawa Gladstone Co-op Limited has constructed a new 12,580 square foot retail sales floor addition and completed renovations to the existing 11,640 square feet sales floor at 300 PTH 5 North. And whereas they have submitted an application under bylaw 3176-17 to be considered for a development incentive, and whereas the town of Neepawa is now in receipt of the 2023 supplemental assessment information confirming that the Neepawa Gladstone Co-op Limited has met the required assessment threshold, deeming them eligible for a development incentive, therefore be it resolved that we approve the application of the Neepawa Gladstone Co-op Limited, providing for a development incentive as per section 2.4 or 14B of bylaw 3176-17, resulting in the phasing in of the general municipal portion of taxes over a 4-year term starting in 2023. Do I have a mover? Councilor Gerard, seconder. Councilor Nadeau, all those in favor? Carried.
I'm going to remove myself from this next item.
Okay, so this is basically moving over to home hardware, the same reasoning. I'm just going to read through the motion. Whereas 1005496 Manitoba Limited has constructed a new 26,534 square foot home hardware building and lumber yard at 142 Main. Whereas they've submitted an application by bylaw 3176-17 to be considered for development incentive whereas the town of Neepawa is now in receipt of 2023 supplemental assessment information confirming that 10054,699 Manitoba Limited has met the assessment threshold, deeming them eligible for development incentive. Therefore be it resolved that we approve the application of 10054,966 Manitoba Limited, providing for development incentive as per section 2.14 bylaw 3176-17, resulting in the phasing in of the general municipal portion of taxes over a 4-year term, starting on 2024. Moved by Councillor Klosterchuk, seconded by Councillor Pottinger. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Other business, Colleen? Councillor Jordan.
Yeah, I was just going to bring up an issue going on in the community that just came up showed up as of last week. And that's to do with the TNR cat rescue people. They are about to become homeless as far as a facility for housing their rescues and adopting out animals. Now, you know, the one thing I look at as a community, this is a great service to the community. On average, when the town has a cat get picked up and then get euthanized, it's in excess of $200 per animal. So it's in our best interest that we see TNR cat rescue go forward. So for those of you who are out there and may have a building or something along those lines that they could host those cats, I hope the community can get behind this group and get them going. Like I said, obviously it's great from the perspective of animal care and that, but also even for the town of Neepawa, it makes great fiscal sense that this group continues to operate. So hopefully we can find a solution for them in the coming weeks.
That'd be right. Okay, any other questions? Mayor?
Just to plug in for the Neepawa Health Auxiliary Group. They are actively fundraising. I'll probably have a letter to read for you next week. I left it in the office, but if you know Yvonne Ferguson, she is one of the contacts. And it'd be a great time to start making donations as they're going to be putting it to a good use now that we're having a wonderful hospital being built. And that's it.
Just adding to that, Councillor Parrott, anyone can make a donation to the town of Neepawa if they're looking for ways they can contribute to the new hospital and what we can do towards the development. Contribution to the town at the town office, you can be issued a tax receipt as well for any contributions that could go forward to that new facility that is quickly taking shape out to the east of town.
Thank you.
Yes, all right. Anyone else? If not, be it resolved that we do now adjourn this regular council meeting at 7:34 p.m. Moved by Councillor Pottinger, seconded by Deputy Mayor Parrott. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.